I wanted to talk today about trypanophobia for a second because I am procrastinating writing a speech that I should have started 2 weeks ago, but I started it this morning. But I wanted to talk about trypanophobia because I feel like it's something that's not really addressed much, and I have it. If for those of you who don't know, trypanophobia is a fear of needles, like in a medical kind of situation, and or medical procedures. Like I said, I am trypanophobic. Mine is situationally based. I don't know if there's like I haven't looked into it a whole lot. I don't know if it could be genetic or if it's just a situational based type thing. If it could be genetic, my dad also used to suffer from it to a degree. And so mine comes from allergy testing that I did when I was like 9 or 10. I honestly don't remember exactly how old I was, but I was young. And I was allergic to like freaking everything. Not any food or like deadly allergies, just like seasonal stuff, where I get like colds and sinus infections all the time. So I went to get allergy testing done, and I was already afraid of needles because like most kids are. And so I was like, I don't want to get any shots. And so I asked my mom, I'm like, am I going to have to get any shots? And she's like, I don't know. I don't think so. And so I was like, well, okay. And then when we got to the place, I asked again. I was like, so, I don't have to get any shots, do I? And they were like, oh, no, it's fine. It's no shots. It was this one nurse in particular, and so I was like, okay. And so we go back there, and for those of you who are familiar with allergy testing, you know what it is. It's, you go in there and you lay down, take off your shirt, and they like poke your back with sharp pieces of plastic like 300 times, not 300 times, but a bunch. And then you have to sit there for like an hour, and each little piece of plastic has like a thing that you could be allergic to on it. And so you sit there and basically you're just waiting for your back to be full of allergic reactions. So that's fun. And so I was like, whatever, I can handle this. It's just little pieces of plastic poking my back. I can't even feel it. It kind of feels like getting a tattoo, but itchier. If I'm remembering correctly. And so after that I was like, cool, we're done here, right? And no, that wasn't it. Then they bring out the tray of needles that, you know, they do when you're at the doctor and you have to get shots or whatever. And I was like, hey now, didn't sign up for this. It wasn't part of the deal. And it was, I think it was 6. Straight down my arm like this, through it, not like that, but like straight through to the other side. Not like through the thick part, but like through the first few layers of skin. It was horrible. It was awful. And ever since then, I've been severely trypanophobic, and also I've had distrust for like doctors and nurses and stuff, which is not good. It's not like I'm like, oh, I don't trust your medical opinion. It's more of a, you're gonna be close to me, right? You have to explain everything you're doing before you do it, which is hard to get people to do because trypanophobia is not taken very seriously in many places. But so I went years and years and years after that, and by years and years and years I mean like 4 or 5 years, without having to get any more shots because I started refusing to go to checkups once a year, which I still don't really do that, which is not very good. Go to checkups, get checkups, guys. But I went several years without getting any shots, and then finally I have to go. My mom talks me into getting a checkup finally. And I was like, okay, fine, as long as I don't have to get any shots. And she's like, well, I can't make any promises, but I don't think you'll have to get any shots. And so you can see where this is going. So I go into the doctor's office, and I don't go to this doctor anymore. But I go into the doctor's office, it's a pediatrician, and I'm in the room, and they do like the blood pressure and blah 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 blah. They prick my finger, which I don't have as big of a problem with for whatever reason. But like I can deal with that without having a panic attack. Shots and getting blood drawn and having an IV is where I have the issue. And so then we're just sitting in the room, me and my mom, and this lady walks by and she's like, "Hey, so have you ever had chicken pox?" And I know that that means that I'm gonna have to get a chicken pox shot, so I said yes, even though I've never had chicken pox. And my mom was like, "No, she's never had chicken pox." And so now that I know where this is headed, I start hyperventilating. And I'm hyperventilating and I start having a panic attack. And up to this point in my life, I'd never had a panic attack, ever. I'd never even really come close to having a panic attack. And so it was an experience. I was hyperventilating and sobbing and trying to shout, like, to get people away from me all at the same time. And they walk in with a tray, and there's 3 shots on there, not just the chickenpox. I had to get chickenpox, meningitis, and hepatitis C or something. Just like the standard shots that you have to get. I was like 15, almost 16, or maybe 14, almost 15. I was like I was an incoming freshman in high school. And so I'm hyperventilating, I'm freaking out, I back myself into the corner, and I grip the chair of the table like this, and I won't let go. People are trying to pull my arms out, and I'm biting and I'm kicking and I'm scratching and I'm screaming and I'm hyperventilating and I'm sobbing, and it's really, really bad. And finally they get me out of the corner and they try to hoist me up onto the table, but I just go dead weight because I guess I felt like that was the best way to avoid it, and so they just had to give me the shots on the floor, and it was awful. It was horrible, and I haven't gone to a checkup since. And so that was when I figured out the extent of my phobia, like how bad it actually was, because I had just a full-on panic attack. And now I actively avoid going to the doctor unless I'm 100% certain that I'm not going to have to get a shot for going. In fact, like, I call ahead of time and I'm like, "Hey, so if someone were to come in with these symptoms, wanting medicine for pneumonia or whatever, would I have to get a shot?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like, "Cool, I'll be in tomorrow." But I don't go if I know I'm going to have to get a shot, because I'm not about that life, and that's dangerous. And I haven't gotten a shot since, until I had to get my wisdom teeth out, which was this past summer. And since I'd avoided getting shots this long, it was not a happy experience. I had to go to a consultation to get my wisdom teeth out, and I knew I was going to have to explain to them the extent of my phobia, because most people, it's not understood. It's not well understood in the doctor community, in my experience at least. It's kind of, I don't know, but at the consultation I was having nervous tics. I had really long hair at the time, and so I was like doing this kind of deal, and like I do this thing where I like rub my palm with my thumb, and I was doing that the whole time, and he could tell that I was freaking out, and he's like, "You all right?" And I was like, "Okay, here." I get really blunt when I'm having a freak out moment. I wasn't having an actual panic attack, but I was on the verge of it. But I was like, "Okay, look, I am a trypanophobic," and he didn't know what that meant, and I had to explain it to him. And I was like, "I cannot deal with needles and shots and things like that, and you're gonna have to put me under with some kind of pill or gas before you even try to put an IV in me, or it will not work. I will not be okay, and it will, no, none of, mm-mm." And he was like, "But your ears are pierced. How are you afraid of needles?" And I was like, it's different. People don't get that. It's different. It really is. It's a different thing. Getting your ears pierced and getting a tattoo is different from getting a shot, getting your blood drawn, getting an IV. It's not something being injected into your bloodstream. or your blood being removed from your body. It's a piece of art being put into the first few layers of skin. It's different. And so I had to deal with that. And finally, I talked to the nurses, and the nurses were so sweet and understanding and great. And so the doctor, I didn't talk to him much. He just took out my wisdom teeth and it was fine. But on the day of the surgery, I had the worst panic attack I've ever had in my entire life. I woke up and I was laying in bed, and my dad kept coming in. He's like, "Emily, we gotta go soon." And I was like, I never responded. And so when he came into the room, he's like, "We gotta go, like, now." I sat there in the fetal position, like, laying down, and I was hyperventilating and sobbing at the same time again, because that's fun. I've got a tear in my pants. And so he finally gets me out, and I go get my wisdom teeth out, and it's fine. I was out before there was ever an IV, and when I woke up, I was so out of it, I didn't even really notice it when they took it out, which was great. So, like, if you're a trypanophobic, don't be afraid to get your wisdom teeth out. Like, I know just saying it's not going to help necessarily, but coming from someone who is severely trypanophobic, it's not that bad getting your wisdom teeth out. But there's just a lack of awareness of it out there, and you're going to deal with ignorant doctors. Because I have a theory that it's so it's lacking in awareness, because people who are so severely trypanophobic like me just don't go to the doctor. And so whenever I do go to the doctor and I talk to people about it, a lot of times they're like, "Oh, you'll be fine." Or, like I said, "You have piercings," or "You have tattoos. What do you mean you're afraid of needles?" And then I have to try to explain that it's not the same. And I've gotten, "Don't be such a baby. I'm pretty sure it is the same thing." And just people in general who don't respect the fear. And you can't just tell someone who has a severe phobia to get over it. It's like telling someone with depression to just be happy, or someone with social anxiety to just go talk to people, they'll be fine, or someone who has food poisoning, just stop vomiting. Am I making someone with a broken arm, just fix it? It doesn't work that way. And so I don't know, I just wanted to say that, mostly because I'm procrastinating, also because it's a thing that I don't think gets enough attention. But yes, that's it. Alright, cool.